Hey guys, so this week we will be making tessellations. I want to show you this up close right here. So you are going to be ending up making a square that looks something like this. You can see I cut this edge and I put it up here, and I cut this edge, cut it from there, and put it over here. And with that, I was able to create this tessellation. Fits really nicely in there. So, I'm going to show you how to make another. Now what I have here is I have some old cardboard from a box of seltzer. And from this, I want to cut a 3 by 3 inch square. And I want to make sure it's as square as possible. So I already cut out a square right here. So I'm going to measure another 3 by 3 inch square right next to it. And I'm going to cut that out as well. So, sorry guys. I need an adequate marker for this. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so making sure that edge is nice and flat. I'm going to make sure this is 3 inches up here. Yep, that's 3 inches. And I'm going to measure that 3 inch square. While we do so, I'll talk to you a little bit about tessellations. So, tessellations are used in math a lot, but there was an artist who did a really nice job with tessellations, and his name was MC Escher. So I'm measuring this edge too. Oops. I want to make sure that this is very, very square. There we go. And I've got that edge right there. I gotta
draw the line right here. Boop. Alright. And over to this edge. Sorry guys, I just want to make sure this is perfect.
Okay, there we go. I think this is pretty darn square. At least I hope so. Then I'm gonna take the square and I'm gonna cut it out. So yeah, MC Escher was an artist who did optical illusions, and he also did these tessellations. So you could kind of think of this tessellation as something of an optical illusion. And if you did your optical illusion project last year, you'll remember we looked at MC Escher for that too. So this is a pretty square little square that I got here. So what am I going to do with this? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this square and I'm going to draw a curve on the side of the square, basically, on the edge. And in the past I've made this more complicated, but maybe I want to make it pretty simple here. And I could just go one curve and like that. That is one of my lines. And then for my other line, I'll go and do a sort of triangle thing. It doesn't have to be any shape in particular, but I would recommend going right to the edge of it, like cutting off the entire edge. It'll just make it easier to line it up in the end. So I'm cutting off the entire edge. I even made adjustments so it goes right to the edge, as you can see here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these, and I'm going to cut these very carefully. Okay, so I cut that edge. I cut both edges. And I've got this shape. So this is the top edge that I cut off. Fits right in there. So I'm gonna take that top edge and tape it down on the bottom. From the top edge to the bottom edge. I'll do that with some tape. A good way to do this is to put the tape on the piece of cardboard first. So if I got a clear piece of tape here, and I've got this, sorry. I'm putting the tape on first. You can see right here. And then I'm gonna line it up with my edge. So my edge goes here. Yeah, sorry guys. So my edge goes here. And I'm trying to line it up corner to corner with my other piece, with my other edge, I mean. There we go. Is that lined up? I want to make sure it's lined up as nicely as possible. And that's why it's really important to have this square edge here, guys. Because then it'll line up really nice. And I'm actually going to get a piece of tape on that edge right there. Because I want it really well taped down. So then I'm able to trace it really easily. So I'm getting this nicely taped and secured. And I'm going to put tape on the other side. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other edge that I have here. Line it up really nice, like that. I'm getting my first piece of tape on there. My hands tend to be a little shaky, so you guys might be better at this than I am. So there's my second edge. Tape it on one side, tape it on the other side. Now I have my kind of weird looking shape. So, I am going to trace this for the first time and see what I think. I'll take kind of want to use a Sharpie to trace this first. So I've just got a piece of scrap paper here. You saw before that I drew this in my notebook. You could also draw it in your notebook, or you could draw it on a piece of scrap paper. The idea is that I just want to see it. So once you take a picture of your artwork and send it to me, I can kind of see what you've got going on. So here's what we do next. We're going to trace our tessellation. And since this is just an example, I'll start towards the top of the page, but it doesn't really matter. If you have shaky, wobbly hands like I do, you might have trouble tracing your tessellation at first. Haha, silly me. But after we do that, there are different types of tessellations, but we're going to keep this really simple. We're just going to line up our next edge with that edge. So basically just shifting it over one and trace it again. Okay, now I have two of those shapes. Let me do, what do you guys think? Two more? Okay, I now have 4 shapes. And if I was going to do a finished product for this, I would fill up the whole page with these shapes. But for now, I'm just keeping it with 4 so we can practice and decide what we're going to put inside this shape. So a lot of the times what MC Escher would do is he would draw animals. So you can do animals, or you could do something a little bit different. You can turn your page around and see if it looks like anything different when you turn it. Actually, when I turn it like this, I end up seeing something. And now that I see something, yeah, I'm going to use that something and create my design. Kind of looks like he has a spider in his hair now, which I like. The thing that I'm trying to do is make a pattern that's fairly easy to replicate, because I've done this once. Now my task is to repeat it over and over again. And in the end, I'd probably fix this ugly nose, but it is what it is for now, so it's really silly. I'll just try to focus on the other stuff, and then, you know, I can edit my tessellation later. So this is the reason really why I'm having you do these examples first, because, you know, when I did my tessellation, I got this guy with this weird teardrop nose, and maybe I'll decide that I like that a lot. Or maybe I'll be like, oh no, that's pretty weird, so I'm gonna get rid of it, you know? And then got my ear, the ear details, you know. Up here, down here, then I'm gonna repeat the same thing with the hair. Do a swirl, and I messed up that swirl again, but that's okay, see? Examples, practice. Behind the ear, da-da-da. So now I've got 2 tessellations. And they're pretty much the same. These are so silly. They're so silly looking. That's okay though. I think I like my first tessellation a little better. Luckily, I have both. So I can choose which one I like better in the end, and I can use that one. Those are both of my templates. So I have those. And I suggest you make one as well. So that's what I want you to do for next week. I would like if you could make your tessellation with that square piece of cardboard, cut it up, do everything that I did before in this video, and trace it out on the paper at least 4 times, like I did. And then on those 4, I want to see your pattern. I don't want to see just one pattern. Do it at least,
I don't know why I said 2 here. I'm at 4.
Do
Sorry
it
about that.
at least
Bye-bye.
twice. And because this is a 2-part project, then you'll have the chance to switch around your tessellation a little bit, if you want, for your final. Sorry, now I'm getting distracted doing my tessellation drawing. Now, I've kind of settled on this design, but if you want to try 2 different designs, in here you could. Or if you want to make yours like a progression of similar things that change slightly, I think that would work pretty nicely too. So here I've got 3 of my tessellations, all ready to go. And if I was to pose right here, like this would be a good submission. You don't have to include your cardboard thing, but of course, I would love to see it. And I would love to see any ideas you have for your tessellation. So that's all I need from you this week. I need an idea for your tessellation, and I need it drawn out at least 3 times, I said. Yes, 2 or 3 times. So I look forward to seeing these. I think this is going to be a really cool project, and I think you guys are going to do great. So if you guys like this, we'll probably end up doing a more complicated tessellation project. If you don't like it, then we'll be done after these 2 weeks. These 2 weeks of doing this project. So that's all I got for you today. I look forward to seeing your tessellations. Bye bye.